Hello there. Today we're at the Busch Conservation Area. We're searching for the Schlote Cemetery. This one's going to be a lot more difficult than the last couple we found. We parked at Lake 35. We're going to wrap around the edge of the lake and then head off into the woods. Wish me luck. Okay, so I'm backtracking back down the hill. I think I went too far. When I reached that concrete structure, it seemed to be off a little bit, too far up the hill. I'm using Google Earth. This does show up on Google Maps, Google Earth. So if you're trying to find it, that's my technique. The GPS coordinates that are on the TNT Story website were totally off. It puts you somewhere, I think in Texas, someplace like that. So I'll get back to you when I think I'm close. Okay, so I'm back to the bottom of the hill, maybe 200 or 300 feet from the bridge that you saw me cross earlier. We have this blue marker tape on this tree over my right shoulder. I'm hoping somebody left that as a clue. There's definitely no path through the woods here, but I'm going to give it a shot. This is really interesting. I've seen no mention of this, anything I've read on any websites, any books. I've seen no mention of what I've just discovered. But it was a very large homestead. I'm sure it had to be that, not the government stuff. We have a cellar with the foundation, a couple of other flat poured foundations. We have a little trough right behind me here. And I'm not sure what else is here. There's quite a bit. Let's take a look around and see what's here. This is kind of cool. So this would have been a watering trough. You can see the pipe coming out of the uphill side into this little trough. It was the first thing I found coming up the hill, but there's quite a bit more farther up the hill. Here you see a concrete cap that would have been for what I'm assuming is the cistern, which is directly in front of us. It's quite deep, has some pipe in it, has concrete stairs on top of that. Then we have a cellar behind that, and on the opposite side of the cellar are the concrete stairs going down into it. Let's take a closer look at that. This is looking down into the cistern, the stairs on top of the cistern, and there are a couple of foundations behind us. You probably can't see it through the brush right now. Over to our right we have the cellar. Here we have the cellar. Those are the entry stairs into the cellar. And a concrete slab off to the right of that. So there's a chance this may have been something the government built, some kind of government compound, it looks like, because I'm on a sidewalk. There was an obvious gate behind me. You can see what remains of the post for the gate. And then behind the camera are would be the entrance to that building and the steps going down into the cellar, but directly into those steps off to my right going up the hill is another sidewalk. This is really interesting. I'd like to know more about this place. Here we have another concrete slab. And here we have another concrete foundation. So the multiple structures and all the concrete leads me to believe the government built this. And there are some corner braces still for fencing around this place, but the entire area is covered in vinca, which makes me think homestead, so I really don't know. Well, and one other possibility exists. I had read that several homes were taken over by the government. I'm not sure if it was the Army, I think it was, but I'm not positive. And they were used as office buildings. It could be that. It was a homestead, taken over by the government, fenced in, concreted all over the place like they tend to do, and then used by them until they were done with it. Not that far from the last place, I've run across more concrete foundations and another set of concrete stairs. I'm convinced it was the government now. Here we have some rubble on the ground. I'm still quite a ways from the Schlote Cemetery, according to Google Maps. And here we have another large foundation, looks like a slab. So this is the reason I enjoy exploring around out here so much. Almost every time I'm in a new area in the Busch and Weldon Spring conservation areas, I run across stuff like that. It surprises me how much of this is left out here. I'm deeper into the woods and I found another foundation. This one is huge. The ground here is relatively level too. We're at the back of Lake 35. Kind of in the middle of the lake, I guess. Well, according to Google, I've still got quite a ways to go to reach the Schlote Cemetery, which I'm really determined to find today because this invasive honeysuckle makes this very difficult to move around in. I'm in the middle of the woods where it would be densely shaded in the summer. When you get towards the edge of the lake, it's much thicker than this. Okay, I'm going to have to say sometimes I'm not the biggest fan of technology, but thanks to Google, I could see it in the distance through the woods. So I found it. I never would have found this on my own. Somebody could have drawn me a map and told me exactly how to get here and it wouldn't have worked. These are some thick woods. Found it, and I feel pretty confident in saying that no one's been here in a long, long time. These are the types of adventures I really enjoy. It's a little difficult to find, but I'm successful. A little bit of hard work, and found lots of surprises, unexpected things. Had some type 2 fun. I'll look back on this one with some good memories. This is a very nice cemetery. All of the markers look like they were fairly expensive, so I'm assuming this family had a bit of money. Here we have August Schlote, who passed away in 1919. We'll take a look at each of them. They're all fairly easy to read. George Schlote, 1909. Catherine Schlote, 1905. These last two have fallen off their pedestals and somebody just leaned them against the pedestal. Mary Schlote, 1907. I'm unable to make these last four out. Three of the four were obviously infants or young children. They concreted in the space where the coffin would lay, so you have an approximate idea of the size of the individual. Hopefully you can see this through the camera. Over my right shoulder, I am on a ridge line. It slopes down to Lake 35, and it's visible from here. Also, on this side of the fence of the cemetery, it's been torn down, and it looks like there may be a slight path over there, which would be a different direction than the way I came in. Well, a different way to get here, not that far off. I'm hoping I get lucky, and it's a little bit easier going back than coming here and find some new stuff. Let's find out. There was no path. Oh well. I know about where I'm headed. I've only been confused a couple of times so far out here today, and not for very long, so that's better than normal. You know, it's surprising to me that there was no marker from the Boone Dudan Historical Society. That's the first of any of these cemeteries I've been to that didn't have one. Well, here's a very long, narrow foundation I didn't see before. This building was so long that maybe, I don't know, 8, 9 feet wide. No idea what it would have been used for. All right, out of the woods, back on the trail. Life is good. So if you're determined to find the Schlote Cemetery, I'd recommend doing it in winter. When that honeysuckle's leafed out, it would be impossible to find, almost impossible, even with the aid of Google. It was difficult enough this time of year. So, thanks for coming along for the adventure. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.